checker player. That probably beat you so bad you get depressed.
Oh, don't try so hard. Just want to relax for a while. Forget what's going on out there.
How about a game of hide and speak? See, I hide in the bedroom, and you speak to April.
Thanks, Cliff, but I can't do that.
Why not?
Because I don't know where April is.
God, aren't I going to be able to get any sleep tonight? Oh, Julia. Mommy's coming. Okay. Baby, sweetheart. Don't worry, I thought you'd be okay. Listen, it's supposed to be your dream. You try to get used to it. You'll find the longer you
Of course, the way things turned out, I didn't really need to try and kill your friend, Mr. Nelson, at all. He didn't have a clue about who killed Elliot Dorn. He was just bluffing.
The jerk. He thought I was the suspect.
Yes, I found that out later, but by that time the damage was done. Oh, I am just so glad I didn't seriously hurt him. Because you see, Mrs. Swift, I don't really want to hurt anyone.
Molly, that's good. That's good, so you should go to the police and tell them that, because then they won't be so hard on you, and maybe you'll get off lightly.
Oh, no. You never get off lightly when it comes to murder. It's much better just to simply never tell them the truth.
But that's impossible, don't you understand? The chief of police is a smart man.
But he's already indicted Kelly McGrath. That doesn't make him too smart.
Well, he hasn't convicted him? And Kelly McGrath has a very good lawyer, don't you see? If he gets off, then the case is still open, and that means you can be in more trouble than you are right now.
But I'm not in any trouble, Mrs. Swift. You think that anyone thinks that I'm involved? Why on earth should they? I had no reason to kill Mr. Dorn that any of them could possibly know about. Isn't that true?
I don't know.
And why should they suspect that I wanted to hurt Mr. Nelson? He was just a stranger to me. And Mrs. Swift, think about the third victim.
Third victim? It was you.
Yes, Mrs. Swift. It was me. I decided to play that little game one afternoon when I was in the hospital and I saw Kelly McGrath. He was doing one of his puppet shows with children. And I suddenly realized who he was and how perfect it would be if I was attacked. Mr. Scott, I don't know what to do. I think someone's after me. I don't know who it is. It's a mugger or a purse snatcher. Somebody. I was on my way to the bus stop, and I heard footsteps. I looked back, and someone ducked into a doorway.
Molly, you sure you're not just using your imagination too much?
There was someone. Mr. Scott, I'm in the phone with it. I'm afraid to come out. Please, watch.
Molly, take it easy and listen to me. I want you to hang up the phone, dial the emergency number. The police can get a car faster there than I can get there. And when you finish that, hang up and call us back so we know you're all right, all right?
Yes, of course. That's what I should do. I'm really sorry to have bothered you, but I'm probably nothing. And that's exactly what it was. Nothing at all. I got out of the phone booth. I took the puppet out of my pocketbook. I dropped it on the ground, and I fainted. I can tell you that I was so tense by that time the faint was really genuine.
Captain, I sent for an ambulance. That's the first thing I did. You know, I didn't see anyone at all in the vicinity. But I did find something.
Now, if you don't mind, I think I'd better be getting along. I have someplace else to go.
No. No, I don't mind at all. Go ahead, Molly.
You see, April went down to the other house, you know, the old house in Oakdale.
Yes, I know.
She went back there with the baby, and that's where she's staying. And that's, well, I'm going to go there, you know, just to see that there are no more problems for Emily, and that she's happy, and that Draper is free.
Molly, no. Oh, Molly, don't. Drop it! Drop that knife or I'll shoot! I'm serious. I know how to shoot this thing the chief of police taught me. Now put that knife down. I said put it down right now. Now get away from that table. Don't you move a muscle. Damn it.
Mrs. Fish,
Shut up!
You don't have to do that. I'll just go away, and you'll never hear from me again. I'll just take Emily. We'll both go away together.
Don't you make one move toward me, you raving lunatic!
Why won't you understand me? Emily is so alone in the world. I made a promise to her father, her dying father, that I would take care of her. She's just like a daughter to me, but...
You are insane and you need to be locked up.
I know what I did was wrong. But what's done is done. Now, why should anybody want to send me to prison?
You think I'm going to let you out of here so you can go to Oakdale and murder April?
Why should you worry? You've never cared very much about April Scott.
My God, that doesn't mean I'm going to go let you murder her. Now get back! I am calling the police. Go ahead. Nine.
I'm sorry.
No. Molly!
I didn't want it to be like this. I saw Kelly McGrath leave here. Yeah, that's right. I think he came back. Just one more. One more.
Hello? Hello, who is this?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about Martine. Tell me about this meeting you had with the newest member of my Admiration Society.
There's not much to tell. I met Mrs. Swift outside Bennett's department store. I held some packages for her while she hailed a cab.
How gallant of you. And you seem to think that she'd like to see me?
Well, from the way she asked about you, I'd say that's a pretty good bet.
Well, I may call that flattering.
She is a very attractive woman, isn't she?
Oh, come, Gunther, would I be seen in the presence of any woman who wasn't?
No, I thought you might like to call her, so I dug her number out of the phone book.
Well, thank you, Gunther. What a nice idea.
Just trying to be of service, sir.
Well, just to show you how much I appreciate your efforts on my behalf, I think I might just give this lovely lady a call.
No time like the present.
if what you suspect is true, this phone call might just make this lady's evening. Well, it seems as if Mrs. Swift is out this evening.
Well, do you know if the phone is in service out there? Because I'd really feel much better if I knew I could reach her. Well, Mrs. Goodman, if you hear from her, could you let me know? Thank you. Please give my regards to Dr. Kavanaugh. All right, bye-bye. Well, talk about strange things happening.
I take it April wasn't in.
She isn't living there anymore. She decided that Miles has enough on his mind that her problems only add to the burden, so she's moved out.
Back to the penthouse, huh?
No, to the house in Oakdale, of all places.
Well, I thought she swore she would never set foot in that house
Yeah,
again.
because the memories would be too painful.
Well, how could it be less painful now? That is the house that Draper lived in with Emily Michaels.
It is, indeed.
Nancy, you know more about this situation than I do.
Oh, honey, not because I want to.
But it does have something to do with Emily Michaels.
Geraldine, what a surprise. Not too much of a surprise, I hope. Mike, how are you?
Hello, Geraldine.
Nancy, I hope you'll forgive this unannounced visit.
Oh, you're always welcome here. You know that.
You didn't venture out on a night like this just for a social call, did you?
Actually, I was hoping I might have a word with your nephew. Is he here?
Yes, he's in home.
Please, sir. He seems to be spending a great deal of time up here lately.
That, frankly, doesn't surprise me. The world can't seem like a very friendly place to that young man right now.
Well, things have been very difficult for him.
It seems such a pity. All of this happened when he had so much going for him.
Well, about the only thing he's been able to take comfort in lately is knowing that people do care about him.
That's quite a bit to be grateful for.
Yes, we've been as supportive of him as we can, as has Jody Travis.
And he's been most appreciative of your concern, Geraldine.
I'm very fond of that young man, as you well know. And that's why I had to drag myself out of my home this evening with great reluctance.
Why? What do you mean?
What I had to discuss with Kelly is not something I'm looking forward to.
There's a problem?
The date for the premiere of the new Jordan's Children's Show on WMON is rapidly approaching.
I think I can guess what's coming.
And, of course, Kelly has missed a great many of those planning sessions with the Jordans. They're just as disappointed as I am about losing Kelly and the puppets, but given the circumstances right now, this is the way it has to be.
Well, it's not unexpected. I'm sure Kelly is going to be very hurt by this, though.
I just wish I could think of a way to tell him that would be easy and painless for all of us.
I doubt if one exists.
I simply thought it would be better to tell him here rather than calling him into my office, hoping that it would soften the blow somewhat.
That was very considerate of you, Geraldine.
How long have you been there?
Too long, I'm afraid.
Kelly, I'm really very sorry.
No. You did the best that you could, and I really appreciate it.
So that can't be much consolation to you now.
Well, it's only what I expected.
Seems very hard to believe that Draper and I actually lived here. I wonder if Emily greeted him at the door every night the way I did. Or if they used to curl up on the couch together on Sunday morning and fight about who was going to get to read the magazine section first. I'd give anything to know what their marriage was like. I remember sitting right here and discussing with Draper how nice it would be to raise a family in this house. Obviously, Emily thought the same thing. She still does.
April, I'm a part of your life. And I'm always going to be a part of your life. You and I have shared something that no two women have ever shared before in the same way. And it wasn't as if we were fighting over the same man. We were just two wives who loved our husbands.
Draper was never your husband.
Oh, yes, he was. You may not want to think about it, but it's true just the same. Draper was my husband, in every sense of the word.
The only thing that is important now is that you are out of his life for good. Do you understand me?
No, April. I'm not out of his life. How can I be? I'm going to have his baby.
What did you say?
I said I'm pregnant.
Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not true. You're lying. You're just making it all up.
Why would I make up something like that? I'm going to be a mother. Isn't it wonderful?
No, it is not wonderful. I'm not going to think about you, Emily. Oh, nothing about you. I came out here so that I wouldn't have to think about you or anything else. I am going to think about happy things because there are a lot of happy things that happened in this house. Wonder where it is.
Now it's my turn.
Did you talk to Miles?
Yes. Oh, it's dreadful outside. I'll just have to get these wet things off. How are you, Mrs. Scott?
Oh, Molly, I'm sorry, but this is above and beyond the call of duty. You did not have to drive all the way out here just to see how I am.
Oh, I couldn't leave you and Julia alone. I just wouldn't be right.
Julia is fine, as a matter of fact. She's sleeping, and as far as I'm concerned... Molly, I came out here to be alone, and I would greatly appreciate your driving back to the apartment tonight. I hope you understand.
Well, I just can't leave, Mrs. Scott.
I don't mean you have to leave immediately. Of course, you can stay.
I had to come here. It is very important that I am here, Mrs. Scott.
All right. Why don't you sit down? I apologize for it being so dark. The electricity is off.
Mrs. Scott, do you think it's a very good idea to be here alone? I mean, even with the phone working, it must be so depressing being here by yourself.
What did you say about the phone?
Oh, excuse me?
How did you know the phone was working?
Oh, isn't it?
Well, it is now, but it wasn't when I got here. Mr. Swift said he would call the phone company from the airport.
Oh, well, that was very nice of him.
Yes, well, as a matter of fact, a little while ago, the phone rang, scared me half to death, because when I picked it up, there wasn't anybody. Molly, was that you?
Oh, yes, I did call, Mrs. Scott. I just called to find out if you were here. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Well, it's just that I didn't know the phone was working, you know. Lord knows I didn't think the phone company would work that fast.
Oh, they must have paid attention to Mr. Swift.
Yeah, I guess so. Molly, the thing that kind of frightened me was... What? If it was you on the phone, why didn't you answer me? Why didn't you say hello?
Oh, I did answer. Didn't you hear me?
No.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe the lines got mixed up. That used to happen all the time when I lived upstate with a dog. Somebody would call and I'd hear them, they wouldn't hear me.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's probably a storm.
Oh, yes, it's very possible. It's dreadful out there. Oh, I'll just have to wait till it lets up to leave.
Yeah, I guess so. Look, if that's the case, why don't you sit down, make yourself comfortable, and I'll try to get a fire going again.
Oh, you don't need to do that.
Well, how about a cup of tea? I did bring in some groceries, and I'm sure a nice hot cup of tea would feel good.
Why don't you let me do that? I'd feel funny if you did it. I'm still your housekeeper.
No, that is in a different house. I don't even know whose house this is. Used to be mine. Or at least I thought it was mine. Draper's, and then the Michaels moved into it.
There was a lot of happiness here. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, I'm sure of it, too. And a lot of sadness.
Maybe it can be happy again. It's such a lovely place.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Excuse me, I'll just go get the tea.
Oh,
I just realized you were here before when you came out here to visit Emily.
Oh, yes, I was here before we knew who her husband really was. Why don't you just let me get the tea? Anything else you like with it?
No. No, the tea will be just fine. And there are dishes in the kitchen.
Oh, Mrs. Scott, does the stove work?
The stove, yeah. Yes, it should. It's gas, fortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Now, just you sit here and relax, and I'll just take care of everything. Oh, excuse me.
Of course I don't mind. I'm relieved you're not somebody calling from headquarters telling me I've got to come back to work.
I'm afraid it does concern your work, Derek. I just had a talk with Kelly about what happened tonight.
I thought you would have heard about that by now.
Kelly's well aware that he made a fool of himself by going to see Raven tonight, that it was just a crazy, wrong-headed impulse. I hope you realize that.
I do, Mike, I do. Unfortunately, Raven is not so forgiving. She was scared out of her wits.
She has nothing to fear from Kelly.
She doesn't see it quite that way, Mike. She knows the boy's been indicted for the murder of Elliot Dorn, and that there might well be other charges added on.
Will there be? I haven't been able to get an answer out of George Walling as to whether there will be other counts.
I haven't gotten an answer to that question yet either. But frankly, I think he'll be content to stick to the one charge. God knows that's enough.
Enough to cost him 20 years of his young life.
You're certainly not going to solve anything by intimidating a witness.
He wasn't doing that, Derek. He was just trying to find out why Raven was lying about him. Now, I know that's a biased opinion, but it's what Kelly told me, and I believe him.
Mike, I didn't have the boy arrested.
I know you didn't, and that's the reason for my calling. Not to argue about what happened, but to thank you.
Well, I saw no reason to make an issue out of it. There's enough on the slate against him now.
Especially if Raven decides to be a witness for the prosecution. Anyway, Derek, thank you very much. I appreciate your leniency with our nephew.
Mike, I'm really sorry about all this.
Yeah, so
Just tell him to keep away from Raven from now on, because I don't think I'll be able to get him off the hook again.
I assure you, he will never talk to her again, but that doesn't mean that I won't. Good night, Derek.
Did you mean that?
About talking to Raven?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? It might be very informative.
Well, I hope so, Mike, because she could turn out to be the most important witness for the prosecution.
She will be, if the jury believes it. Do you happen to know her number?
No, but I'm sure we have it in the book. Here we are.
Come. Now answer. She's not home?
Nobody's home tonight. I don't understand it.
the worst night of the year and everybody's out.
Well, we're safe at home anyway.
It is true, though, isn't it? I mean, Nicole is in the hospital. So is Jody. April's out at the house in Oakdale, and who knows where Draper is.
Well, he may have decided to stay with Cliff until this thing is resolved.
If it's resolved, oh, man, so messy. I mean, really, they have a beautiful family, a lovely apartment, and they're living apart because of...
Because of something you don't want to discuss.
Oh, that's a bad one, huh?
You've never been afraid of a little thunder and lightning?
I am afraid. But I don't know of what.
Draper might have gone out to Oakdale just to be with April.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
In fact, she may have managed to get her phones working by now. Why don't you give her a call?
Well, do you think it might be a little late for that?
Well, I was thinking it was kind of close to bedtime.
Yeah?
But I think you'll sleep better if you see that she's okay.
I'll give it a try.
With any luck, Draper will answer.
Oh, if only. Hello?
Hello. Oh, April. Hi, it's Nancy.
Oh. Hello, Nancy. Boy, am I glad to know the phone's working again. It rang earlier, and I couldn't hear a thing.
Well, I can hear you fine. Listen, I'm sorry to be calling at such a late hour, but I was anxious to know that you're all right.
I'm fine, really. As a matter of fact, I have company.
Oh.
Molly Sherwood didn't like the idea of Julie and me being out here all by ourselves and just took the trip out to see how we were doing.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. At least you have somebody around.
Not for long, Nancy. I told her she couldn't stay. I don't want anyone here. I don't need anyone. Just one of those times when you want to be alone.
Well, I'm not sure that being alone is really all that helpful.
Sometimes it does help. This happens to be one of those times for me anyway. Oh, listen, it's Julia. The phone must have awakened her.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please. It's not your fault, and I really do appreciate...
Should I speak to the baby, Miss?
Excuse me. No, Molly, I'll see to her. Nancy, look, I'll give you a call tomorrow, okay?
That's Mrs. Carr, isn't it? Would you mind if I said hello to her?
Thank you. Sure. I'm coming. Okay. Mrs. Carr, it's Molly.
Hello, Molly. It was very thoughtful of you to be out there for a while.
Oh, well, I was worried about Mrs. Scott. Frankly, now that I'm here, I'm more worried than ever.
Why? Doesn't she seem all right to you?
No, she doesn't. Not at all. She is so depressed. I've never seen her like this. It's not like her at all.
Well, she sounded perfectly normal.
Oh, well, I think she was putting on an act for your benefit.
But if you could just see the way she looks. She walks around here as if she's in a trance. She only talks about one thing, Mrs. Carr, that life really isn't worth living.
What?
Yes. I mean, she's got me so scared.
I don't want to go, but she is insisting that I leave. Do you think that means anything?
Well, she said that she just wants to be alone.
But to do what, Mrs. Carr? That's what worries me.
Hey, Draper. How you doing?
I'm fine, Cliff.
Sorry about the couch being so small. Used to be bigger, but I washed it and it shrunk.
The couch is fine, thanks.
I'm sure you're comfortable. I mean, I feel guilty. You're paying half the rent. You got a right to be comfortable.
No, Cliff, come on, don't feel any guilt. I'm fine. I'm going to be okay.
You know, I don't get this. I mean, you're welcome to stay here if you want, but You said that April's not at the penthouse. Why don't you go there? What's the sense?
What's the sense? I don't know. I guess there is no sense. It's just the way things work out sometimes, I guess.
Oh, I got an idea. If you like it here, I'll go to the penthouse.
Well, I don't think we want to start playing musical apartments, do we?
I don't know. I just want to live in a penthouse. Want some pretzels?
No, thanks.
Cold pizza?
No.
She's probably at her brother's house. Well, why don't you call her?
She was there.
What do you mean, was?
I mean, I don't know where she is.
Oh, you think she's at the penthouse?
Well, that's the point. I went by and I saw her. I told her it was crazy for her to move out of the penthouse. I was the one that should get out.
Well, then look, if she's at the penthouse...
Cliff, I didn't say she was at the penthouse. Look, I appreciate your help, Cliff, but I don't want to talk about it.
Fine, sure. You know, just keep my mouth shut. Mind my own business. Good night.
Good night. All right, Cliff, I don't know where she is. She's not at the penthouse. She's not at Miles. She's gone.
What do you mean, gone? You think she left town or something?
I don't know. She could be here. She could be on a plane to New York with my daughter and my best friend.
Logan?
Well, Logan was in town. I mean, he had some business to take care of. Now he's gone, and so is my wife and my daughter.
Oh, just a minute, Draper. I don't believe what you're telling me.
I don't want to believe it either, Cliff, but that's what I was told. Like, I'm sorry, but... And don't worry about the couch being small. I'm not going to get any sleep anyway.
Well, Julian's asleep again. I think she just wanted to make sure I was nearby.
Oh, I'm sure that was all. Just won't let up.
What happened to the tea?
Oh, the water isn't boiling yet. Pilot light was out. I had to find. Imagine it wasn't easy in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
It'll just be a minute. Mrs. Scott, do you feel strange here?
Why should I? I lived here for almost a year.
Yes, but it was also their house. I think I'd be very disturbed if I knew my husband had another life in this same room.
I was prepared for that when I decided to come out here.
Well, it just seems to me the last place in the world you want to be.
I had my reasons.
Did you expect to find something?
I don't know. The last thing I expected to find was this.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, a picture. Emily and Draper together. Surprised she left it here. She seemed so intent about keeping all their mementos of their life together.
May I?
Be my guest. Burn it if you like.
She loves him very much, her husband.
She loved a fantasy. Someone she created because the person she loved does not exist.
Who really knows where love begins?
Question is, where does it end?
Has your love ended, Mrs. Scott? Oh, I'm sorry to put it that way, but you and Mr. Scott aren't living together, so it seems reasonable that one could assume that things have changed.
Our feelings haven't changed, Molly. It's just the situation. We happen to have a problem that we have not solved yet. That's all it is.
You mean Emily?
Do you know something? I'm not even so sure Emily's telling the truth.
What do you mean?
Well, Draper remembers very little of what his life was like when he lived here with Emily, but he feels that it wasn't quite the life that Emily describes. You see, he doesn't believe that they were intimate.
How could you possibly believe that? But you know that Emily is pregnant. You know that only Mr. Scott could possibly be the father. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but I think Mr. Scott's memory faded just when he wanted it to. For your sake, Emily loved her husband so much that she tried to take her life when she lost him. Doesn't that prove something?
Maybe. But right now, just forget I said anything, all right? Because maybe it's just my wishful thinking. Maybe it's my fantasy.
Well, it's reality, Mrs. Scott, and you'll just have to learn to live with it.
Well, I can't. Okay? I can't live with it.
Oh, no, you're not thinking of... Oh, you can't. You can't.
I can't what?
So why you came here all by yourself? You're not thinking of doing what Emily wanted to do? Taking your own life?
You're crazy. Where did you get an idea like that? Because I have no such intention. Why should I?
But if your marriage ends...
Even if my marriage does end, I have a little girl upstairs who needs me, and aside from all of that, I want to live.
But if you lose the man you love...
Oh, I have not lost Draper, and as long as the two of us love each other, we've lost nothing.
Are you sure that he still loves you?
What did you say?
Are you sure that the reason he hasn't pushed Emily out of his life is because he loves her?
Draper does not love Emily. Do you hear me? He feels responsible to her because he is the father of her baby. That is the only reason.
All right. Of course you would know.
Oh, God. Did you come all the way out here because you thought I was going to kill myself?
I'm afraid a lot of people might think that, Mrs. Scott.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Who in the world would think I would bring my little girl here if that was my intention?
Well, people in your frame of mind don't usually think very clearly, now do they?
No. The water's boiling.
Oh, yes. I'll just go and fix the tea.
After you've had your tea, Molly, you are going to have to leave.
Oh, yes, of course, Mrs. Scott. Just hope this works more quickly than it did for the other Mrs. Scott. Here we are, Mrs. Scott. There? There we go. Now, this is yours with the sugar.
Thank you, Molly, but I've changed my mind.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing's the matter. I just don't want any tea. You have it.
Well, it'd be nice and warm. You'll feel better.
No, I have decided I would rather go to bed.
It'll relax you. You told me you were having trouble sleeping.
That is precisely the reason I've changed my mind. Tea is too stimulating. The caffeine. It doesn't matter. Thank you. Anyway, but no thanks.
Well, it's up to you, of course.
Yes, look, I hope you don't think I'm being rude if I excuse myself, but I really am very tired.
Oh, no, I understand. I'll just sleep on the sofa.
No, you will not! Molly, I don't think you've understood me. I want you to have your tea, and then I want you to leave.
The roads will be all wet and slippery, Mrs. Scott. I'd really prefer to stay. I'll be as quiet as a mouse.
Not tonight, Molly. I'm sorry.
Do you really think it's a good idea to stay here all by yourself?
I'm fine, and taking care of Julia will be no problem.
But you have so much on your mind. Why don't you let me stay and just see that...
I know your intentions are good, but it isn't necessary, believe me.
Well, I just feel responsible to you,
I
Mrs.
appreciate
Scott.
that. I really do, Molly. But the most responsible thing you could do for me right now is to go home.
Well, it just wouldn't feel right. I feel like I was abandoning you.
I am not cut off from civilization, and if I need any help, I will call.
It'd be much easier for both of us if you just let me stay.
Believe me, it gives me no pleasure to send you out in this storm, but
Then please think about it.
you to stay here. It would defeat my whole purpose for coming out here, which was to be alone. I need time, do you hear me, by myself, to think and sort out my own feelings.
But you'll be in a much better frame of mind with a good night's sleep. I'll go in the morning. First, I'll fix you a nice breakfast.
No. Do you hear me? Respect my wishes now and leave.
Right. I'll be on my way.
Thank you.
Have a good rest, Mrs.
I will.
Oh, and if you change your mind about the tea, you can still reheat it.
The moment you are out this door, I will be in bed.
Why don't you go on up? I still have to get the toll money out of my purse, and I'll let myself out.
I'll give you a call in a day or so.
Thank you. Take care of yourself.
Don't forget to put out that candle, please. Good night. Thank God she slept. I know sometimes she just acts so strange.
Sister, I've been worried about you.
Well, you don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm fine.
You know, if I had come home 1 hour earlier, I wouldn't let you out of this house.
Miles, I didn't call to argue. Besides, what's done is done.
What possessed you to go back to Oakdale?
I thought the note that I left explained it all.
April, how could you possibly think of yourself as a burden around here?
Miles, you have enough problems of your own without adding mine to them.
You know you can always come in. I'm always willing to talk to you, to help you in any way I can.
All right, fine. It just seemed unfair to me.
In fact, if you had been here, you probably wouldn't have gotten a word in edgewise. I'd have been pouring my guts out to you.
Misery loves company, huh?
Oh, something like that.
How's Jody?
She's resting comfortably now.
Nicole?
Well, she's a little nervous about tomorrow. We all are.
Yes.
Listen, is Logan still with you?
Logan must be halfway back to New York by now.
Well, then you really are alone out there. April, I don't like that.
I have Julia. She's all the company I want.
April, go home to your apartment. That's where you belong.
I am not going back there until Emily Michaels is out of her apartment, out of that building, and out of our lives for good.
I tell you what, you come back here, then. I'll have Mrs. Goodman stand guard at the door. Emily Michaels won't get past the garden gate.
Miles, my coming out to Oakdale wasn't an arbitrary decision. I need to be here right now.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not even so sure it makes much sense to me.
Well, try me, because I want to know.
Well, this house, every house, I guess, has a history, and I just thought if I came out here, I might learn something about the second couple that took up residency here.
What could you possibly hope to learn, April?
I don't know. It's just that Draper's given me one side of his marriage with Emily, and her version is completely different. I mean, come on, even Logan Swift told me that Draper has no recollection whatsoever of ever being intimate with Emily. Anyway, I just thought if I came out here, I might be able to find some sort of a clue to help me understand things.
Have you?
Well, not yet.
I didn't think so. Look, kiddo, you're grasping at straws. I can't see yourself doing any good at all, rattling around that house all alone.
I haven't even been alone.
Well, I meant you and Julia.
I'm not even talking about Julia. First, Logan was here, and then Molly arrived. I don't know, she found out where I was and got worried and hopped in her car, supposedly to rescue me.
Well, that was very kind of her. Don't you feel better with her there?
No. I sent her home.
I don't know what else to make of it.
I'm sure there's a logical, simple explanation for this.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. My crystal ball is out for a tune-up.
You know, I find it a little strange, Cliff, that my wife suddenly decides she needs to spend some time away from me. Then Logan comes back, takes my wife, my daughter, and their luggage away from Miles' place.
April did not run off with Logan. You can bet on
Well,
that.
they're not at Miles, they're not at the penthouse. Where the hell are they, Cliff?
I don't know, but I know where they're not. They're not in New York setting up some kind of love
Well,
nest.
Logan's my best friend. Isn't it a little strange that he comes back to Monticello without letting me know, unless, of course, he doesn't want me to know?
You have a very suspicious mind, you know?
Well, it's the only logical explanation.
I think it's highly illogical. You're talking about your wife and your best friend.
I don't want it to be true,
Hey,
Cliff.
Draper, look, I have no qualms about sticking my nose in business where I've never been asked. So let me tell you something. Any torch that Logan was carrying for April, he extinguished the minute you came on the scene.
Yeah, and they went to great lengths to convince me of that one.
They were friends, compadres, compatriots. Look, the only thing they have in common is that they both, in their own way, love you.
Well, what's that old phrase, Cliff? You only hurt the ones you love.
Aren't you being a little dramatic about this? I mean, really? I obviously know these people better than you do, because April and Logan would never do anything to hurt you. Jackpot! It's the blonde. When we saw at the bar. I'm telling you, she probably thought I was so irresistible that she couldn't wait, so she followed me home.
Well, Cliff, if that's what's happened, I'll go catch a late movie or something.
Really? She will? You're really a peach. Who is it?
Please open up.
Not the blonde? It's my favorite redhead. You'll never take me alive, Copper.
Hi. Tonight we go Chinese.
I see. You're gonna fry me with sweet and sour chicken, huh?
Look, I want to talk to you about something later, okay?
Hello, Draper.
Hi, Deborah.
Look, if I'm interrupting a business meeting or something, I'll come back later.
No. We've put away the legal pad a long time ago.